Hi, I'm Austin Harris, and this is my 13th and final creativity journal log for the semester. I'm going to be talking about the lecture a little bit and then also talking about what this course has meant to me and what I've gained from this course throughout this semester. Um, and seeing as this is the last and final wrap up for the semester, we had a pretty serious lecture that I feel like was based on more than just the end of the course. I feel like it was more of a send off to do great things in the future and to hopefully have learned life lessons for this course and hopefully for the rest of our lives. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the lecture. I had a lot of notes this week, and then it went on for another page. And then I had some other side notes that I just kind of wrote on my own. So we're going to talk a little bit about the steps to being, I guess, successful. And Professor Venegas really kind of talked today about, what are you going to do with your life? Are you going to, make a difference? How are you going to make a difference in this world? We are so blessed to be able to be a part of such a wonderful university. And we all, being students here, have a great opportunity to do wonderful things in this world. And what you choose is kind of up to you, but it is definitely a good question for him to ask us. What is your role going to be? And I asked myself that, and I know that I've learned a lot through this course. I'm going to name a couple things right now. I've learned that being a good listener is 10 times more successful than being a good talker. In regards to working with teammates and working with a group or anything along those lines, building people up, second to none. You can never be unsuccessful by having a good support group that gets things done, has a common goal, and all have the same are on the same page for doing the same amount of work and getting the job done. I have also learned that taking time to set ahead, to do the project or whatever you're doing, is pretty important. I've learned that doing a little here and there along the way, within a 3 week time period or whatever it is, will actually really pay off in the end, because you'll know that 3 weeks from now you're not going to be sitting there with hours and hours and hours worth of work to do. You've scaled it out and you've done it throughout an extended period of time, and that makes everything easier and a lot less stressful, which we learned in another lecture actually it kills a large percentage of the population of CEOs and executives and companies, because stress is such a major factor in this world. Sorry. So we talked about different steps. The first one being identifying the drivers. We talked about paradigms. We talked about the second step being understand general context of the creative research process. And these are I'm just listing them. Understand the basic elements of the creative research process and understand the process for managing creative research. There are a lot of things that I got from this course, and I think that knowing one of the most important things I learned is get out of your comfort zone. This is one of those courses where if you sit back and you're too afraid to interact, you're too reserved by your own comfort of not expanding your knowledge and being closed minded, you won't be successful. But what I thought about in my reflection is that this is not just for this course. If you live through life closed minded and you are not open to new ideas or imagination, creativity, or thought, you won't be successful in life either. And so I think that in a lot of ways, this course runs two and two with life. And it's kind of in a different abstract way of thinking. But in jobs, you're not going to have a test where they're just going to, say, hey, here's 50 questions on, the company. And if you answer them right, we'll give you $80,000 a year. Doesn't work like that. I mean, the fact that we sit there and we have projects scaled out every 3 weeks or whatever it is, that's what it's like in the real world. And it's not necessarily going to be, hey, you get a grade for it. It will definitely depend on, you staying with that company, them wanting to keep you instead of firing you, your pay. All of these different things are a factor in the real world. But I think that this is kind of a very, very small preparation on a smaller scale is what I mean, for the large, idea of what the world will be like when we all graduate and have our own jobs and are all employed, hopefully. Um, we talked about disciplinarity, which is the concern with the study of a topic within only one discipline. We talked about pluridisciplinarity, which is multiple disciplines. We talked about multidisciplinarity, which is one discipline which invites other disciplines. And we talked about interdisciplinarity as well. We talked about cross-disciplinarity, which is the intersection of multiple disciplines. And all of these were really interesting and kind of told a lot. We had these models that branched off, and you could really see how everything was interconnected, and one thing led to another, which is also kind of how it is in life too. If you don't take care of everything, give everything 100%, something in your life will fail. And I think that a good example for that is your priorities. I see a lot of these different things we learn in this class as priorities, and I think that, for example, if I'm spending all of my time at work, then my marriage and my family will, the structure of my family and my, marriage will fail, if all of my time is spent at work. And I think that, vice versa. I, need to spend time at work so I can help, support the family and all these different things that I would like to do. And so I think that all of these different disciplines are pretty interesting, and I learned a lot from them. A creative person also sees the invisible, believes the incredible, and receives the impossible. I really liked this quote, and that's why I wrote it down. Because I feel like there is something to be said for people that are not closed-minded. Like Professor Venegas said, get out of your comfort zone. I really truly believe that a person that is outside of their comfort zone, that is creative and who is not closed-minded and open to thought and other people's thoughts, which is key, not just listening to what you think but what others think. I think that they are open to such a huge amount of information and possibilities that people that are closed-minded will never ever experience. And I hope to be one of those people that is, open-minded and isn't closed-minded when it comes to other people's ideas or anything along those lines. It's something that I have tried to master the art of this semester, along with the being a good listener, being a good supporter, and really caring about everybody else and not just working with my mind, but using my heart. We also talked about The Island of Research, by a book by Neil Agru. And we really talked about the paradigms as well. We talked about a paradigm of integrated academic missions and integrated learning environments built on foundations of transdisciplinarity. We talked about a knowledge creation to move from the baseline of what is vision and what can be built upon. All of these things were pretty, helpful when it came to really understanding the model of what I'm going to do and my effect and what my role in this world is going to be. And I spent a lot of time in deep thought about how my role can be an asset in this world. Being a lawyer, how can I be a lawyer and help this world? Helping other people. Do I, shoot? Is that my goal? Is that my motivator? And so a lot of these different things really, stimulate my thought on my life, why I'm going to do the things I'm going to do, and that I'm going to wake up every day wanting to do what I do. There's a quote that has been said, a man who loves what he does never worked a day in his life. And I think that that is a key concept in this world, what I'm going to apply to my life personally, and even a little bit about this course. There's no point in spending all this time on certain things if they do not bring you happiness and they do not help you be successful, help you innovate, be creative, and for the better of the common man. And I feel like if we don't make this world a better place, and if we don't leave it better than we showed up, then we might have failed. And that is kind of my personal opinion. But I definitely have appreciated this course. I have learned so much, and I think Professor Venegas is one of the most helpful and intelligent professors that I have come across. But the reason why I think that is because he has tried to give something that other professors I feel like have not been able to give, and that is life experience and life advice. And with that, I conclude my creative journal, and I thank you for everything that you've done.